You just gotta take a breath, you know? It's the brain goulash. Brain goulash. Brain goulash. Brain goulash.
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
Check. It's actually squirrels he's looking for.
Squirrel. I knew it. Fucking knew it. So are we trying to go deleted an expletive out or how?
We can have some expletives, but we're not focusing on it not being or being there at all.
Okay, so I can fuckity motherfuck.
I mean,
that'd be cool.
If it's tasteful with what you're talking about, then yeah, fuckity muckety fuck.
Okay, cool.
But if it's not tasteful, if you're talking about not fuckity fucks, then it really doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay. So I can't just start off like dick, ass, fart, pussy, all that good stuff.
Like I said, if it works in the context of what you were trying to do.
It won't have any context. It's just me starting off that way.
Well, you have to find a starting off point somehow. If that helps you start, that's probably the best way to go about doing it. Yeah. And you're not even that close to their microphone, so it's not picking you up too well.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Now I'm just going to have to hold it the entire time.
I'm here to make things simple, not difficult.
I'm telling you, I can put it down my throat if you need me to.
If it comes to that, we'll figure it out.
I was kind of trying to stay off of it so the pop wasn't as bad, but
No, I get that. But now you're just going to intentionally pop it and breathe into it?
Yeah, like consciously knowing that I'm doing it.
So hello, ladies and gentlemen, or men and people, non-binary and binary.
Yeah, I'm about to say, this is 2022.
The
You can't start like that anymore.
LGBTQAIO plus. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about different things. Some things that may trigger you, so we would like to put that warning out there. And me and Aaron, I'm Mexican, he's Jewish, because that's important to state, because we're going to be talking about a bunch of racy things, like the
Not
Indy
racist,
500.
racy.
Yeah, Indy 500, the Talladega 500, Kentucky Derby, that kind of racing.
Yeah. Did you really just say Talladega?
No, I didn't. I don't think I did.
You did.
I don't think I'm gonna have to.
You're gonna have to check that audio. I
thought I said Talladega 500.
I don't think you did. I think you said Talladega, which was kind of funny in the aspect of we're not gonna get
I'm really just talking about the future in 2030, 35, when the homosexual community starts a NASCAR team.
That would be awesome.
It'll be pretty badass.
They're
probably gonna win.
Absolutely awesome.
Because they're gonna know more about the engines. Because still old crusty men are going to be doing it, and they'll be
it's not only that, but I mean, not to be offensive here, but they're really meticulous about everything. And there goes our camera. They're really meticulous about everything. So if you think that engine won't be the most fine-tuned engine you've ever seen in your life, you've got another thing coming.
Well, and it'll probably be the most original too, if anything.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Jeff Gordon's car ain't got shit on what these are going to look like.
Yeah, because he's the DuPont Rainbow.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. That was
that was interesting, to say the least.
The thing about it is that I don't know who the bunch of them were, because I only knew about Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon.
Oh, Dale Earnhardt. Yeah. Bigfoot killed him, right?
I've been hearing those things.
Yeah.
I heard it was the southern Bigfoot, not the northern one in Washington.
Yeah, no, not Yeti.
Georgia
Bigfoot. Yeah. Yeah, back to Bigfoot. He definitely killed Dale Earnhardt. He was solely... That's why you can't find any of them down here anymore. They went extinct because all the rednecks got so pissed off, they just went Bigfoot hunting for I want to say 14 years until they wiped them near all the way out. And now that's why you only see just a handful of Bigfoots in the South. And I know that's not the plural of Bigfoot, but
Bigfoots? Big.
I think it would be big feet.
Oh.
Maybe.
I just need my stepsister to get here then. She a big feet.
I mean, my dad's a big feet. I'm a big
Yeah.
feet. I mean, we're direct descendants of the big feet.
Question is,
But no, I did not kill Dale Earnhardt. See, Bigfoot's supposed to be like the missing link between man and ape, you know. But like, I don't see the correlation.
because Bigfoot is better at evasion,
I mean, yeah.
and Bigfoot doesn't have the need to constantly populate, or like
I mean, yeah.
it doesn't have that insatiable need to.
I mean, think
just-
about apes. They are not. They populate like a motherfucker. Think about us. We populate like a motherfucker. So how come this little middle step was just like, nah, I'm swearing off sex. You know, I don't want any offspring.
Well, you know, that's an interesting thing because there's this whole controversy when it talks about that man only became man when an ape started eating mushrooms and stuff, and like their cognitive thought just got more like they started thinking more, they started developing tools and all that stuff. But
I'm just gonna tell you, I've never had shrooms that good, ever.
to make you want to think,
No, to make me evolve brain wise and like change the way I look.
well, what if the
Now,
idea about
I have had shrooms that made me thought I was dying for about 8 hours, and like, or that I was dead for like 8 hours, and then having to go through that constant loop and cycle of, okay, I am dead. I need to just kind of come to grips with it, and then going back like, okay, maybe I'm not dead, but I'm close to death, and I need to, you know, maybe I took too many shrooms, and then it goes back to, no, I'm really dead. Like, yeah, no, I'm dead. Yeah. And
so maybe you did die though.
maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. All I know is I spent 8 hours walking back and forth through my house looking at my family like this is the last time they're ever going to see me. I'm dead in the bathtub back there because I took too many shrooms. It was not a great night, just saying.
I mean, that's all well and good,
I know it wasn't.
but
anyway,
I mean, not for you.
I've never
like,
had shrooms that, you know, altered my entire being.
But imagine, like, if you did it multiple times.
What, died?
Yeah. Like, or took that many shrooms that many times to where
no, I would never do that
it
again.
makes you just like eventually get to the point where you move past that thought of death or that feeling of death. And you're like, actually, it's not death, it's life.
Yeah, I'll never do that again.
No?
No, absolutely not.
But what if the apes had did that?
I mean, maybe they did. Maybe that's how we got here, but I'm not trying to figure it
Well,
out.
I was more thinking about the idea of apes doing that, but it wasn't mankind that it turned into. It was Bigfoot. Because the need, like, I mean, I'm not going to say this in the general sense that people don't want to have sex after they're enlightened and shit like that, but like, you find out certain things that are less of a necessity than you used to find such a big necessity. And so, like yeah, you want to have sex, but it's like more or less with the certain person or certain person you have a connection with, or like, you know, whoever it is that you feel like you have a good conversation with or something like that. Like, you know, that connection that people have and talk about before they actually do the deed and all that. Like, oh, I got to have some sort of feeling for this person. It can't just be a one night stand or some shit like that. Like, there's, I don't know, but like,
I don't know. You kind of lost me on this, if I'm being honest.
well, I'm more or less talking about the idea.
So, like, Bigfoots have to have an emotional connection before they bang? Is that what you're
Maybe.
Is that what you're getting at?
Maybe. And that's why they don't bang, because there's very little big feet. And at a certain point, I guess maybe it became incest or like, you know.
It's kind of like an oxymoron. Very little big feet. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's like Little Big Town. Stupid name.
That is a really stupid name.
But like, I don't know. They got good music.
Bigfoots ain't got good music.
But they could. They could have been the original like floor stompers, like for like Native Americans that were dancing around the campfires and stuff. Like,
Or what if they invented the do-si-do?
I don't know the words to do-si-do, but I
I
feel
don't
like
think there are any words to do-si-do. I think basically you just hire one of those auctioneer guys to come in and just babble a bunch of nonsense, and then you kind of just make up your own little dance to it as you go. And it's kind of like one of those collective things, like when you get a bunch of people in one area, and then like one person starts doing something, and then everybody seems to pick up on that one thing, and they all do it the same way. It's kind of like that.
yeah, monkey see, monkey do.
Sort of, but it's like it's a psychological thing. Like I forget what they call it, but like they'll literally basically monkey see, monkey do, but like literally they'll nail it. You know what I mean? It's uncanny how fast they pick up on it and then just do it exactly the same when there was no instruction to do so in the first place.
Well, then you go back. That can bring up a whole different thing where it's like, generationally, we already have that knowledge inside of us. It's like all we needed was just the ignition, like to spark us to do something or move us to do something. Yeah. I don't know.
I just never understood the whole auctioneer part, like why they have to have some guy just go, yeah, take your partner down, round, and then they just dance to it, like.
I mean, I don't know, but it's fun to think that, well, that's the real question. Because politicians talk like that all the time.
Sort of, but theirs is more like a mumble droning on, like you can't really decipher what's going on. They go from like one topic into another topic, and then it's just
that's the thing. You listen for specific phrases and words. It's not that you understand or pay attention to the whole sentence, but that there's words in that sentence that if you put them together, like, oh, like that beautiful we see, but that was just a shorter version of, hey, that's shit's really beautiful. We should probably go see that, but one shorter than the other.
If you're talking about the government, it's like, that's really beautiful. We should go destroy that and exploit it for everything we can. But we only pick out the like, oh, that's beautiful part, like.
Well,
oh,
yeah, I mean, gentrification is beautiful.
And then they go exploit it and destroy it, and then we're like, hey, that was beautiful. Why did y'all do that? And you're like, we told you. You just weren't listening.
I mean, explosions can be pretty beautiful.
Not explosions, exploiting.
Oh. Well, both explosions and exploitation.
No, one's semi-beautiful and one's not.
I mean...
And the explosions are only beautiful if they're done in a place where there's not things to destroy. Well,
then that would make no sense for anything to be destroyed. Then if nothing was good to be destroyed.
Well, I mean, like if it's like an old junk city or something like that you're trying to just rebuild everything to, and no one's inside of it. Everyone's gone.
There's always that one homeless dude though.
Well, that poor guy
he's always going to be hanging out in the bowling alley.
He had the warnings, you know what I mean? We told the city evacuate 800 times before we blew this bomb off.
But the weirdest thing enough would be the guy. He'd be the guy that like he's holding the sign that says the end is nigh. That's the ironic part of that is like
his end is definitely not.
He's not paying attention to anybody else except for himself.
Well, he ain't gonna have to pay attention to anything else ever again.
The ending is here.
It is.
People, why can't you listen to me? He's like Woody Harrelson on 2012, just like talking about the end of the world.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen that?
Mm-mm.
It's not a bad movie. It's one of those movies where like you have to like the actors and stuff because like the storyline makes completely no sense, or like it's just like another movie to like kind of agendize like what the government does and doesn't do kind of thing. But ultimately, the idea of the movie is that like we're better than you, and we make shit and we put it in secret, and when the world comes to an end, we shall be okay. But you, the people that give us the money to be okay, will be S out of luck.
S out of luck.
SOL.
SOL.
I meant to say that at SOL and shit out of luck, but I ended up saying S out of luck. So
Metro PCS, I've constantly, since they've came out, called them Metro POS.
Why?
Because they are POSs.
I don't know what Metro PCS means.
I don't know what PCS means either.
Correctional system?
No, it's like a phone, dude. I don't know what it stands for.
Metro. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you meant. I'm thinking Metro like Mobile Gel.
No.
Oh
that
god,
place
those
sucks.
are atrocious too.
Yeah, no, that place sucks. I slept on the floor like right next to the toilet when I went. It was horrible.
Yeah, and they give you a mattress
There's
that like
4 people to a tiny little cell.
That mattress, that little thing, that tiny thin thing, it costs $95.
Are you kidding me for
run,
that?
Yeah, I was given a rundown of the pricing of like everything inside that it costs an individual. Those things cost $95.
That is ridiculous.
And you're supposed to get a pillow too.
Hey,
I didn't get no. I never got a pillow.
Hell no.
But it's $35. I'm like, dang, who's spending $35 on a pillow?
Apparently they're not because we didn't get one.
We didn't get no pillow.
He's like, nah, you got your little fucking $95 mat. That's it,
man,
buddy.
you can bend the end to make yourself a pillow.
All right, here's that and your watered down Kool-Aid, And
you got Kool-Aid?
Well, sort of. Like they mix this stuff in like one of those.
A vat.
Well, it's not a vat. It's like one of those big coolers,
Those orange ones?
Yeah,
the
with
igloo,
yeah, but it's got the little, nozzle on the bottom. Mm-hmm. But by the time you get there, after like all the real hard guys, they get up there first, By the time you get there, your shit's so watered down. It's not Kool-Aid. It's like taking one of these like flavor packets, dumping out 3/4 of it, and then putting the rest into a glass and then filling it all the way to the top.
I'm not going to say being in jail for those 3 days made my shit very watered down.
Oh, dude. No nutritional value to any of their stuff.
I did not go to the restroom at all while I was there.
Oh, Lord.
It was only 3 days.
3 days without taking a dude?
I didn't eat either.
Or pee? Did you pee?
No.
What? You didn't pee in there?
Bro, I barely even drank water. I was...
Whoa, now that's a feat. I can't go 3 days without peeing.
Man, it was...
I can't do that. Now, pooping, I'll hold that shit for a month and a half if I have to.
Dude, it's a psychological trick, man. It was just
peeing,
one of those
I
things.
gotta pee. I gotta pee.
I was so self-conscious. It's just because all those dudes looking at you and shit like that, and they're like, I ain't gay, but here they are looking over your shoulder and stuff like that.
I get what you're saying, but it's really not as bad as you would think in there. Now,
it's
don't get me
atrocious.
Wrong. There are people in there that will junk watch like a mofo, but it's
not like prisons, like movies make it seem.
Yeah, no, it's not like
movies.
Everybody's just like, hey, let me see your wang.
Yeah,
no.
Coming to our cell, give us blowjobs or something.
Yeah, it's just you take the precaution to turn in a certain direction to where they don't see your junk, Because if you don't, then they're thinking you want to show them your junk. And if that's the case, whichever one wants to see it, he's going to be looking. It's not like you're sitting there peeing, you got your legs spaced out a little bit and some dude just slides up underneath your legs like, hey, nice junk. It doesn't work like that.
My name's Carl.
Yeah, that's nice. No, it's nothing like that.
Hey, you want to put some of that stream this way?
Oh, Lord.
And that's where the kink was developed.
You know who I really love? R. Kelly. Yeah, I'm out. No.
You can't be out. You in jail.
I'd stomp his face, go to solitary confinement. That'd be it,
Man, I couldn't imagine going to solitary just because of the fact that all I had was an insurance ticket that didn't get paid. The fact that I went to jail for an insurance ticket was ridiculous.
Dude, I went to jail in Baldwin County, and theirs is a giant daycare center. It's weird. There's this giant room with a ton of bunk beds in there. And there's, I don't know, probably about 40 bunk beds, maybe. I may be exaggerating. I don't know. I can't really remember. It's been a long time, but there's a lot. I mean, it's a room full of people. So, and they all shared one bathroom, which was a line of probably about 8 toilets and then a couple of sinks, stuff like that. And then all the showers were in the same room. And it was weird. The first couple of nights I was in there, I did not want to take a shower in there because, all I could think about is, like you said, those movies you see where it's just everybody wants your goodies. You know what I mean? You get in there and
my goodies,
yeah,
my goodies,
yeah,
my goodies, not my goodies.
You expect everybody to be yeah, let me get that butt, and you're like, oh no.
Hey man, you got a real pretty mouth. Want to put some sugar on and make it sweeter.
But you gotta warm up to it and just go. You know what I mean? You gotta get in there, get your shower on, and don't pay attention to nothing. Don't look nowhere. Don't pay attention. Just wash and do not drop the soap. That, of course, is number one rule ever.
But see, did you have a big bathroom?
Yeah, it was huge.
Because that was the thing. In the Metro, they had that little tiny shower at the bottom.
Metro ain't nothing compared to the one I was in.
It looks like a porta potty. shower. That's basically what it is.
No, that's privacy at its finest. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, this is not what I had. What I had was a giant room full of showers, like you see in like those like old high school movies where it's like,
like the dude like comes out of nowhere and just starts like shivving you, or like there's something in your butt you don't really know what it is.
It's no,
nothing like that.
No, nothing like that. I mean,
I guess high school was different for me.
I guess it could be like that, but no, I'm talking about like the high school movies where you see like the men's locker room just had like a group of showers, you know, and it's all open. You can see everybody's ass, like that kind of thing. That's what it was, you know. So, and shower time, you all had to go in there and shower like in groups, of course, because there's only so many showers to MF ratio. You know what I mean? Like,
you looked down a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Left and right though, not down straight. You know what I mean?
It's like you don't even got to look anywhere. You just wait for them to pass in front of you, like penis.
Dude, it just becomes so normal after a while. You're just like, hey man, nice dick. You know, like it. Not really.
I don't think I got to that. I ever got to that point, but I feel what you're saying. Like, I get what you're saying.
It really does become like pretty normal to where you don't pay attention to it. You know, you just go in there, you get your business done, you wash up, you get out. You know, and like there were people that were so afraid of going to the shower. Like by day 4, you know. I took a shower at day 1. You know, it was tough. Day 1 was hard. Day 2 was hard. But after that, it was like, yeah, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's just a damn shower.
Yeah, I used to sing all that dick.
Yeah, I got used to singing all the dick. Anyway, there was these people that were just petrified. They were on like day 3 and 4 and hadn't taken a shower yet. And they started messing with those guys. Like, I almost felt like they would become victims just because of how afraid of it they actually were.
Yeah.
And they were sitting there like, oh, man, we got them gators out the shower, man. You ain't going to be scared to go in there. You know, we got them gators out. Like, man.
Well, you know, there was, you're saying that, and like, there was actually a dude that I was bunking with.
Yeah.
Well, we had like 4 dudes in our cell. That's made for 2 people. But like, there was one dude, he sat on the top bunk, and he was like, he looked like Dirty Jesus, you know? And like, he had
There's always one in every prison.
Yeah, he looks like he had like really dirty dreads and stuff, and like, he looked really dirty. And it wasn't because of the fact that he was dirty. He just hadn't taken a shower. Like he was one of those guys. Like he curled himself up in the corner in the cell and stuff. And like even though nobody was bothering him, although I did witness like people like obviously starting to mess with him because
of course they will.
He was dirty and like they would take his food and stuff. And like I ended up giving, like,
they become the victim at that point. Yeah,
and it's crazy because it's like, if they weren't so afraid, it wouldn't happen.
There would just be normal other people in there, you know?
Yeah.
And the reason is because you got to think a lot, like, especially in prisons, like jails, not so much, but in prisons, these people live there. That is their home.
So why messy it up?
Well, it's not even that. It's just you're going to be their roommate or bunkmate or whatever it is. And you're going to smell like ass. They got to smell that. They're stuck in there with you. You know,
it's like, it's like camp.
Yeah,
like they're gonna make fun of the dirty kid.
Of course, you know it's like,
dude, we're not making fun of you because you're not taking a shower. We're making fun of you so you will take a shower.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah,
and make you feel bad enough to do it.
Yeah, like, and once you realize that nobody really wants to grab your goodies, we're good. Just get the fuck over it. You know, like,
and you know that's what they're going back to the whole idea of like entertainment. Entertainment really gives you this light of like what certain things.
Oh
are,
yeah,
like,
it scares the hell out of
college, prison.
Yeah,
even things as like cultures things. And stuff. Yeah. Like, I mean, like, dude, in like Europe and stuff, they really think that Texas, or at a point that Texas was like all about, you know, having like spurs and like guns on your holsters and like big cowboy hats and stuff. I mean, most of it is, but like it's not like dirt roads and you're just looking to duel every 5,
I was about to say, like Old West wasn't like you got somebody outside every 20 minutes like, I'm gonna shoot you at noon, you know, like, no,
look here, pilgrim.
You know, no, it was none of that. Yeah, I mean, there's probably some of that, but not like.
I mean, but like that was like 100 years ago. Yeah. Now it's just people just coming up and popping a cab. You ain't know who it is.
Yeah, right. Like they don't even take the time to pull you out the saloon anymore. You know what I mean? No. They're not like, hey, at noon sharp, I'm shooting you in the face. Like, no, it's like
there's no respect.
Pow, and then
there's no respect in war now.
Hell no.
It's like we've become so sophisticated that we're no longer like we don't believe in honor in war.
Of course not.
Very interesting. No. Like even like 100.
Think about like I want to say like the British, you know what I mean? Like with the powder loaded muskets and like full just run into war kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that anymore. You know, and it's probably a good thing because like that's horrible.
I don't know, man.
Could you imagine being on the front line? You know you're gonna die. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Like maybe
die.
they believed in their country so much that it's gotten to a point now where it's like, are we wanting to fight people because we actually think they're wrong, or are we just fighting them because it's easier and we don't have to worry about our own lives? Like, like it becomes kind of third rate. Like when you're killing people with a machine, it's different from killing people man to man, or person to person, because you don't have to look at the consequence. You don't have to see what's really there. Like there's no, it's like trolling online. There's no consequence to what you say, no consequence to your action, no consequence at all, really.
Yeah. You're just behind this automatic machine.
Yeah.
Just mowing people down.
Yeah. And it's like, again, losing the honor in war is just like, now we're just invading, we're spying on people. Like, yeah, I'm not saying that spies haven't always existed, but at least there was honor in some way, shape, or form in war, even though war itself obviously breeds nothing except for more war.
Oh, yeah.
But there are good things that come from just from people
good
that
things
have
that come from war.
Yeah.
Like movies. I mean,
movies, but also, like the Holocaust. I'm not saying
nothing good about that.
I'm not saying the Holocaust is good, but it helped America say, hey, you know what? Maybe this whole racism thing is bad. We probably shouldn't.
But we still haven't got that under wraps. You know what I mean? Like,
but they
at all.
It was so important
if anything,
back
it's
then.
Kind of the same.
Well,
it's just more indoors. You know what I mean? Like behind closed doors.
Well, yeah, because nobody can see you except for you and God. It's like
now that technology's out, people are more racist than probably ever because, well, not ever. It's like just as equally as racist now as it was when you could openly do that. Like when you could openly just walk out and say something racist to somebody and no one bat an eye. Like now you can do it behind a keyboard and nobody really bats an eye. I mean, yeah, you'll get a few comments like that's messed up, but is anything actually being done about it? No.
But the question raises is that, like,
in fact, most of these social media sites actually will promote more for the racist party than they will for the victims. Well, when the victim retaliates and says something back, well, then they ban their content. They ban them,
for bullying or something.
Yeah, for bullying and harassment. It's like,
yeah.
I'm literally being bullied and harassed, what the fuck? But you've got their back and stuff. So, it's actually about the same amount of racism as it was back then, if not maybe a little more.
But you got to wonder too, like at a specific point is the whole, like, I mean, we're talking about racism as the idea of political correctness, right? Like,
give or take, yeah.
So like, is it safer to be blatantly racist or safer to be in your house and blatantly racist, repressing all those things?
I think it's safer to just not be fucking racist.
Well, no, I mean, I get that. I get that. But it's like, in order to get to that point, you also have to be willing to have the conversations with people like that that would make you naturally uncomfortable and stuff, and not to shy away from those conversations.
I think instead of trying to generalize what you hate about somebody into a color or a race, just literally pick apart what it is you don't like about it. Like, I don't like the fact that you talk loud, or I don't like the fact that you throw your trash around, or I don't like the fact that you listen to loud music. Make it, direct your hatred of whatever it is towards whatever it is. Don't be like,
so there can be some sort of resolve.
I don't like you because you're Mexican or black or Jewish or what. What is it about that person that you don't like? It's not their race. I mean, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Well, what if that's the thing? What if the race is just a way for them to make it simpler for not liking them?
Of course it is.
And it's not even that they're racist. It's just that they
generalize a way one person acts into everyone, in that genre or that race is, everyone is exactly the same like that. Like, no. That's not how people work.
But you know that says a lot about the psychology about people too, like where they'll expect a certain person that, say, like a fat person with a beard. I guess I'm just looking at myself in the mirror. But like say you had a bad experience with a fat person with a beard. That experience doesn't just work for that one person, but every time you see a fat person with a beard, you'll have some sort of predilection against them, or like you'll have something will tell you to either not go because they're like the last person that you knew or something like that. And like so that happens
Well, it's
to be
like you're saying, like you go to an all you can eat restaurant. Fat person with the beard's there, and he clears out all the crab claws before you get there.
that's a talent.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But either way, clears out all the crab claws before you get there. And you really wanted some crab claws. Mm-hmm. So now you don't like this person. Instantly, you're just like, this person is an asshole because you are, a gluttonous ass that just took everything that was left. Mm-hmm. And say you didn't even eat it all, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Either you took the rest of the crab claws and this guy wanted it. So now every time he looks at any other fat person with a beard, you're a crab claw eating son of a bitch.
Well, and you're talking about like building some anger in your mind. So it's like it becomes now less about the crab claws and more about this person's just disrespectful. Oh, this person's just an asshole. Oh, this person is obviously you're building these things
and
in your
you
head,
start building more.
and eventually it becomes about, oh, it's because he's Mexican. Like it's not even about the race. It's like look back and it was just about this motherfucker just wanted some crab claws.
Right? That's it. Just, all it stemmed from was a dude wanting some damn crab claws.
Back looking like, during slavery and stuff, it's like, this motherfucker just wanted someone to work for him. Like, it wasn't about slavery. It wasn't about being racist, but it was such a common thing and normalized that they thought it was not evil, even though inherently it was. But because our quote unquote founding fathers didn't make mention of it, then it was just something that was kind of brushed under the rug. But that they were smoking weed all day and stuff, and they were saying, you know what, this whole men created equal thing, you think they'll say something about our slaves? And old Ben is like, probably.
Well, they didn't actually view them as people, that was the problem.
I feel like some of them did, though.
Well, some of them did, but not enough of them to count, where not enough people in high enough places to make it count.
But that's what's crazy. There was, because you had all these dudes creating a document that literally started a country based on the fact that they didn't want to listen to somebody else 3,000 miles away because they wanted to make their own rules. I mean, it's
but a lot of those men had slaves.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they knew that slavery was bad, but it's like, well, this is one issue that we're dealing with right now. Let's worry about that issue later. They could never see that it all tied in together.
Well, yeah. Or they were only worried about their race.
Exactly.
They didn't want freedom for all races. They wanted, at that point, freedom for white people.
But it's interesting to think that maybe they worded it that way because they knew one day this will be the issue. They worded it in such a way that nobody could differentiate all people or all men created equal.
Well, it's very likely, but it's hard to make that stick and stand
because everybody else owns slaves.
Exactly. If that was the case, they would have changed that then and not, waited for someone down the road to do it later,
Well, it's like politics at its finest.
Oh, of course.
It's like saying, well, we can't work with that issue. Let's fix this because if we fix this, this will probably start getting fixed kind of in a weird way. Nowadays we're so free in the sense that we will literally pick out anything to be upset about. Can you imagine yelling that this person is not doing their job so they could get fired, though they should get fired, and the manager listening to that customer and firing that employee because of that hearsay. But in every other country, that person would be lucky to have a job, or that person would be, lucky to even be consulted as a customer, or the owner's actually paying attention or whatever. In America, we're just so free. People, yes, there's some stigmas and stuff that say, well, we're not as free as we like to think. But the
Oh,
very
of course
idea that we're
not,
doing
but,
this
yeah,
shows how
the
free
fact
we are.
that we can actually talk about it, we can discuss it
Yeah.
without
And we
being drug out into the street and shot in the face.
And we can
well,
put it
you
on
know,
radio, or we can put it anywhere we want to, and it's okay. And somebody may or may not agree with us, and it's their right,
of course,
to just belittle it or make it something more than it is, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do find it fascinating, like that we as humanity have allowed ourselves to get to a point where we're so conscientious of our own needs and desires, but yet psychologically we've grown so much that we're so angry about all the things we went through and even our ancestors went through that we're not even present now.
yeah.
Like we're just so stuck on our suppressed memories, our repressed, feelings and our generational traumas and stuff that we're not even present nowadays.
Well, the funny thing about all like what they call the woke, movement is it's like you said, we're all focused. We're all now waking up and focusing in on what makes us unhappy or happy. We're very conscious of ourselves and what we need now, but it still has never branched out to understanding someone else and their needs and their wants and their desires. Yeah, it's all me.
Yeah.
And like everyone's taking offense because they're only thinking about themselves. I'm offended by that. I'm this, I'm that. And it even stretches out to them being offended for other people because they're offended.
Yeah.
So,
and it's like they think they're trying to protect you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Like with like Native Americans and things, like I've seen like numerous white people come out and just like, that is offensive, and you're like, and then the Native Americans like, no, not really. Like we're cool with that, and they're just like, no, that's offensive. You should be offended. It's like, how are you going to tell somebody what they should be offended about? Just because it offends you, Kelly, doesn't mean it should affect him.
That comes back to, again, the psychology of like somebody that is so bent on ignoring their own self that they think that by sticking up for somebody else, they'll somehow get some sort of reprieve from their inner like battle. But it's really the inner battle that they're having is because they won't acknowledge their own pain or their own traumas, that they project all that stuff on.
Well, in a way,
people.
it makes them look worse. It makes them look, like they're the offenders. You know what I mean? It's just like
they're called a racist, but like I was trying to help you out.
Because the person that probably said it, he wasn't thinking, or most likely wasn't thinking of it in a condescending way. The person that received it probably wasn't looking at it or thinking of it in a condescending way. But this one outside person, the person that stirs the pot, looked at it, got offended by it, and was telling the one person that they shouldn't be so offensive and telling the other person that they should be offended.
Yeah.
And it's like, that makes you look bad. Like,
but even think about the whole aspect of the fact that
you're looking at this from either a racist or hateful standpoint. But these two people didn't. This guy thought it was funny as hell. The other guy that said it, he thought it was funny as hell. You're the only one that has a problem with this.
But what if it's like me as a person that has a problem with it, but I don't even actually have a problem with it. I just think it'd be funny to stir the pot. Like
there's those people too.
Like they know what's going to piss this person off and piss this person off. Of course. And like, even though these people know that it's not offensive, it doesn't hurt anybody or anything like that, this person, this troll or this person that's like, it's like, I know the buttons to press on both of you.
Oh, of course.
Like, and then it stops being a conversation.
But a lot of times that doesn't work. Like I say,
it can.
A lot of the times it doesn't. Sometimes, yes, you'll get the two right people that will take it and be like, oh, well, maybe I should be offended, or maybe that was offensive, and then they start turmoil between each other. But a lot of the times it's not like that.
Yeah.
A lot of the times these two people are looking at that other person like, yeah, that's stupid. That's dumb. Please
it's like
stop.
Logic is still there and there's no anger or trauma associated with it until
that's real woke.
Yeah.
If you want my opinion, that is what I would call real woke.
Like say something racy, but nobody get offended or they just laugh or something.
I mean, you got to think about the backbone of comedy. I mean, forever it's been like making fun of. It's not even really making fun of. It's how do I word this? Like,
poking fun.
Yeah,
or
poking fun at
acknowledging it.
anything. Like there's not too much that should really be off limits. Now, if you're just going out there trying to cut people down and degrade them, that's not comedy.
Yeah.
You know, you can clearly tell that, that was never intended to make anyone laugh.
You're just bitter.
You're just being hateful.
Yeah.
But then there's comedy, like real comedy, like Richard Pryor comedy, like
Red Fox or
like
even Bill Engvall and freaking Ron White and stuff. Like
they all had comedy, and maybe it got a little racy, maybe it got a little,
but that
outlandish.
got people to talk.
But but it's also thought provoking.
Mm-hmm.
It like John Leguizamo. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his stand up.
I haven't, but he's a great actor.
It's a little racy, it's a little diced up, but there's so much fact in there that makes you think about like how fucked up things really are. And like I said, it may be slightly offensive, but at the same time, it's like, well, what makes it offensive? The fact that I know this is wrong and I'm guilty of something that he said or done, like, is that why I'm finding offense in it? Mm-hmm. Or is it just offensive because I don't understand it?
Well, that's interesting again, because it's like the crazy thing that we would find funny. It's only funny because we thought about it at one point, or like we've lived it or experienced that at one point.
But like, where do you draw the line on that though? When everything is offensive, where does that leave comedy? Where does that? I mean, like when you can't literally say or do anything that doesn't offend. I mean, comedy is offense.
Well,
to
like
something
for me,
like
that's where I feel like PC culture can be so detrimental. Because like political correctness is basically turning on itself when it's like, we used to be able to say this, now we can't say this, now we phrased it certain else. And actually, we can't say this, what we were talking about, now we're going to call it something else. Oh, wait a minute, I thought we couldn't call it that. No, we're calling it something different. We're just separating the two words, and we're saying this, but that is also now the same thing.
Yeah.
What? And it's like confusing itself. Like for me, political correctness is just a way for us to not acknowledge what's happening.
Yeah.
It's like separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Like that's not really a law. It's just like America's way of saying, we don't want to talk about your religion, so we're not going to actually talk about our religion.
Yeah.
But we're going to put our religion in every little facet of everything that we do. But whenever it's like a really fine line, but really vast freaking ocean of difference between what is offensive and what is actually like respect or like it's recognition,
of someone's cultures or how they do things, like with the Native Americans, for instance.
You're going back on them a lot. You must have seen a bunch of TikTok videos.
Well, there's a lot of things going around about a lot of different cultures. Like that's the main thing that people are woke about right now is cultural appropriation, and with the white people dancing around in headdresses and things like that. They came out and they were like, hey, that's not cool. And I'll explain why. It's because those headdresses were earned. Those headdresses, these things were done in our culture for a certain reason. And for you to just do that and poke fun at us, that's not okay. Mm-hmm. And of course, that is offensive. That's not okay. But then you've got other cultures like the Hispanics with the sombreros and all that. You see, white people go in on vacation and they wear that stuff. And then now they're trying to say that's offensive, but it's not the culture themselves that's saying that's offensive. That's
the woke generation.
Yeah, the woke, what I mean? Yeah. They're saying it's offensive. And then
but here you are, like
Spanish culture is like, no, that's cool. We like that you're interested in our culture. We want you to be.
You're like learning something about us by doing this. Like it's not offensive. It's actually educational.
Exactly.
In a weird way, you might not be meaning to educate yourself, but in a way you are.
So that's the difference between what's offensive and what's not. Is when that culture comes out and tells you, okay, no, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Then back off. That's not cool. Yeah, just pay attention. Learn.
But if it's only like a person that looks like you, that's from suburbia, or something, like has really nothing other than to worry about like what's for dinner that night because mom cleaned the clothes and stuff.
That's garbage.
Yeah, well, but that's also interesting to think that, like,
I mean, it's
cool.
a nice sentiment that you would be concerned.
Yeah, that's what's cool, that it is that somebody would be concerned about that, but at the same time, it's like,
but don't be overly concerned to where
think about it.
Where
Like,
you're coming up with an issue that's not actually there.
Well, and the funny thing is that, like, somebody's offended by it, but they don't take the initiative to try to talk to those cultures or those people in that culture.
Yeah, no.
They take to
they don't
the
try
internet.
to educate.
Yeah, they try
take
to
what little bit of knowledge they know, because they've seen some, like I said, like a TikTok about the Native Americans getting offended about their culture, and now that they're placing on every other culture in the world. Everyone's going to be offended by you doing this. Everyone's going to be offended. No, that's not how that works. If they get offended, they'll let us know. We don't need you, Kelly from Ponderosa. Like, we don't need you to tell us what's offensive. We need them to tell us if that's offensive. And a lot of the times it's not. Like I said, unless it's something like within the Native American tribes where it's an earned thing. It's got a lot of sentimental value. And, like, especially with the Native Americans, the reason they're so pissed off that this is happening is because we, the white people, are really solely responsible for a lot of their just real.
That sounds like the new Constitution. We, the white people,
fucked up shit. I mean, I'm telling you, it really is. It should be the new Constitution because it's bad.
We, the white people, who does some crazy shit.
I mean, all jokes aside, what us, and especially, like, these churches and stuff like that have done to these people, it's just it's atrocious. And they have every right to be mad.
Well, and it's again, it comes back to the whole thing where, like, we think that we actually own stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we don't or can't, and even with a piece of paper, say that we own something, because the fact about it is that no land has been rightfully earned, except for the people that have lived there originally.
Yeah.
And it's screwed up to think that, like, at some point, reservations were created to give Native Americans a place to live and reside.
Yeah, that's
but
horrible.
it's like the American government was saying, well, here you go. We know we caused mass genocide with Manifest Destiny, and we know that we caused a Trail of Tears and the Oregon Trail,
and we're still doing things.
Yeah, we're still doing it. But here's a couple casinos. Here's some paperwork that says you get so much acres. But guess what?
Of your land.
You don't know this, though, but we can push you off at any time we want to and build pipelines. We can do whatever we want to.
And push y'all around.
If we want to.
Yeah.
But right now, you're safe.
For now.
Yeah. But that's like, then when we look at it from that point of view, it's not even just Native Americans. It's, blacks, it's Mexicans, it's Asians. Like,
which is really screwed up, because we abandoned our homeland. We abandoned our stomping grounds. We could have rose up there and took over. You know what I mean? If needed be. We didn't have to come across the entire ocean and come take somebody else's land. We could have stood up for what was ours, but no, we were like, what's easier? Let's go mess with these guys who aren't as armed or aren't as well prepared for a massive battle or just the shittiness that we bring.
Well, what's interesting about all that is, like, that's why the British were still there.
Yeah.
Like, they were there and had made terms with the Native Americans, which is why we didn't go past the 13 original colonies. But, like, Shays' Rebellion and the fact that during the American Revolution, the government had made promises of land to these people that would fight in militias and all these, Minutemen armies and all that stuff. Yeah. They refused to give those people land, or they didn't have the land to give or whatever, because they needed to have more land. So they fought the British first to get them out so we could prove Manifest Destiny, moving west, which meant genocide, which meant, pushing people off their land because we wanted more, because we deserve it, or like we think we have some sort of, it's the nation under God. We use that facet of this is what God asks for us to have. But really, like, when you look at it, it's just really because we ourselves just aren't satisfied, because we're so traumatized.
We as a people have used God for the most bastardized things. Like, the excuse of God has literally been used to take everything we wanted. Like, the fear of God it's crazy how it works. Is we come in, we tell you that there is a God. We tell you that this God is a very jealous God. You need to, only believe in him. You only need to worship him. Well, once we get you into that spiel, okay, now you have to fight for God.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to take things for God. Now that person over there, because they don't believe in God, they're not good people now.
They're savages.
They're savages. We need to go kill them in God's name because that's what God wants.
Because they don't know civilization and they need to be civilized. But it's like, are you literally saying that you're going to cause war and be a savage to somebody that you're calling a savage because they're not civilized, even though they don't want war, but you do?
That's pretty savage.
That's interesting. That's very savage.
It's pretty savage.
That's very interesting.
So it's amazing how much bad things we put into the name of God and play it off like, okay, yeah, that's just perfectly fine.
Yeah.
God's
and here's
cool
God
with
just
that.
like on a cloud, just be like, I didn't do that.
Yeah, God's like, I think y'all really misinterpreted what I was gonna say. Like,
bro,
y'all are really wrong on this.
I have this fun thing where, like, I think we've talked about this before, like the whole idea of Sodom and Gomorrah and stuff. Where, like it wasn't God destroying these two cities; it was just mankind not listening to their inner self that says, you probably shouldn't store these highly explosive materials in this cave that has methane in it.
Yeah, like that seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, and like the small voice inside their heads, they just keep ignoring it over and over and over until one day some guy's like, hey, boss, like, I don't think we should store this highly explosive material that we're just learning about, this black powder or whatever that we're trading on the Silk Road with China.
What do you know about it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm just saying, boss, like, it just doesn't sound like a good idea. And then 2 days later, it explodes. And then, like, they're like, it must have been God.
Yeah.
Like, he's angry
God.
with us.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I can't imagine how many actual natural disasters, like natural earthbound disasters.
Because of mankind.
Because of mankind, we're blamed on God.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Not only do we do a lot of screwed up things in the name of God, but we blame a lot of screwed up things on God.
But I think,
which is hilarious to me because, like, wow, you know.
But what if that's the point? Is that, like, that tells you
He's
that
the
God
scapegoat
is there as a way for you to say, you know what, we messed up, but we're going to continue doing things anyways.
Yeah,
and no matter what lens you look at it through, evil or good, it's crazy to think that God just says, like, I just want you to, like, be more. Like, I'm not telling you to be better, just be more. Like, you have it.
Yeah.
You have it all inside of you. Just like, I'm
just going to laugh so hard when we all get to whatever heaven there may be or whatever God there is. And he just looks at us like, literally, I put you there for one simple reason, just to be. That was it. It didn't matter if you were good, bad, ugly, whatever. It didn't matter. But all that crazy shit you did, like, I don't even know, bro. Like, that was, like, I can't even really be mad because, like I said, I only put you down there for one purpose, just to be. Like, all that messed up stuff, it's whatever, But, like, at the end of the day, I just have to let you know that, like, you all were so misconstrued on what was going on.
Well, then you're talking about, like, Calvinism and universalism because then you have people that are pissed off that are recognizing that they say, hey, did you know that if you die, God loves you so much that you don't even have to accept it into your heart before you die? What? And they're like churches that are pissed off that's the case because, like, are you saying that I dedicated my whole life to him and you can just die and be okay with this? Like, are you saying that you didn't want to do any of those good things that you did?
Another thing that's killing me right now on that note is people are now, the little Jeffrey Dahmer thing came out and everybody's watched it.
The demon that created Jeffrey Dahmer?
No. I've watched a countless number of people now talking about how before Jeffrey Dahmer had died, he had turned his life over to the Lord. So now Jeffrey Dahmer is up in heaven. Mm-hmm. He was accepted into heaven because he was forgiven for all his sins, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, okay, so it's totally cool for somebody to kill and eat people, and then they're forgiven, they get into heaven. But if you're gay or you believe in magic, oh no, there's no
tarot,
forgiveness for
chakras,
that. Yeah, there's no forgiveness for that. But you can fucking eat people if you want to. But no, there's no forgiveness for being gay.
But as long as you give yourself over to God, it's okay.
Yeah.
The pretty man on the cloud is looking down upon you to say, hey, I'm here. Hey.
So it blew my mind. I'm like, that's where we draw the line at. Like, eating people's cool, killing people's cool, but God forbid you want to take a dick.
I mean, shit,
you're
man.
going to hell. You know, like, come on.
It's so
line
fun.
up.
It's so interesting.
You know,
It's like
what?
it's so interesting
What?
to think that that's what repression does. Is like somebody wants to be gay or have those feelings for somebody that they push it down so much because they want to please other people so much that they end up doing everything they can to push that away. They'll write laws against it. They'll make sure that nobody around them has any sort of like understanding or predilection or like relationship with somebody like that.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Like, it's really interesting, but and that's the funny thing about it is because that's what we're allowed to do because we're in America.
Yeah.
That's what's cool, but it's also that's what
it's so not
sucks.
cool. That,
Yeah.
like it's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, it shows you how much what a computer can do these days. Like, there is no consequence for the fact that people get pissed or annoyed or whatever, like, because nobody has to have any real conversation these days.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like now I can say, even if I feel that's like the first thing I feel, and I don't have to think about it more because I have nobody else to bounce these ideas off, I'm going to go to the internet and see what happens.
And just blab right there and say whatever the first thing that is that comes to my mind.
Yeah. I don't have to think about it. Like,
it's horrible.
But everybody, thank you very much for joining us here on. We didn't even say the name of the show.
I don't think we have a name for the show.
Oh, well, I was thinking Brain Goulash.
Brain Goulash? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's pretty much our random thoughts for whenever and however, so
And
it makes sense.
we appreciate y'all hanging out with us, talking about nonsense and everything. And
Definitely
nothing.
So. And once we get this live and up and wherever it's going to go, if y'all have any questions or that topics y'all would like to talk about or anything like that, drop us a line. We, feel gracious enough to
do this,
answer this,
even though you didn't ask
questions.
for this.
Well, no, you didn't. You didn't ask for it initially, but now that it's here, if you want something, let us know.
Yeah, we're down to give you whatever you want.
Yeah,
within reason.
We had to start. We had to. It's kind of like a fire. Like we had to ignite the spark for the fire.
We needed the Flintstone.
But now we need y'all to kind of like throw some wood in, keep it going.
Maybe just spit in some alcohol, make that thing flame up. I mean, it's dangerous.
At safety of our village first.
Oh, yeah. Safety first, yeah. Safety first and teamwork.
Anyhow. But yes, thank you for joining us on Brain Goulash. And like I said, if there's anything y'all would like to talk about or like us to talk about, drop us a line. We'd be more than happy to converse about it. And
semicolon, if you'd like to sponsor.
Feel
free.
That as well.
We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. So, any type of sponsor's cool. Barbers, hairstylists, cosmetologists. I'm just talking about one profession.
Okay, like me personally, I couldn't have like a barber like sponsor me because like nobody's cutting my damn hair. Just saying.
No, but people getting their haircuts and stuff.
Oh yeah. That
like
Not that I hate barbers or anything. Like I didn't mean to sound like
we're not getting
that,
barbered or Sweeney Todded over here.